Good morning. How are we doing? Okay, let me start off with, first I would like to recognize healthcare professors. They're keeping us alive. I also want to recognize men and women in uniform and veterans. They come in harm's way to protect our freedom. Okay, so I would like to talk about leading in evolving times and how do you prepare for operational excellence and resiliency. So it's a combination of technology and what leaders have to do, right? Because it's not all just about technology. So I don't think I have a clicker. That works. Okay, so just something about myself. And the way you have to show your presence as a leader. And it took me a while to create this. And this is more about, if you see on the right side, those are my strengths. And I promote my strengths. I want everybody to know my strengths so they can leverage my strengths. On the top are my beliefs, what I care about, and what I live by every day. And on the left is my leadership style. And middle is just information. So we'll come to this a little bit later when I talk about, what you do as a leader. So I would like to share a video of what HII is, because a lot of people ask me, Huntington, Ingalls Industries. When I say Newport News, they are in the news business. So I'd like to share what our company does. Video.
Landing on a seagoing platform, that's hard. Who first thought it even possible? Today, it's done right every day. Who thought we could unlock the atom? Today, nuclear energy safely powers our ships as we protect the environment. Helping warfighters in never-before-seen circumstances react like they've seen it 1,000,000 times. Remaining submerged for months, unseen, manned, and ever vigilant. Joined beneath the sea, way beneath, by autonomous vehicles fulfilling their mission all on their own. Delivering actionable intelligence across the globe, across domains at hyperspeed. None of it is simple. All of it is very, very hard. Built on brilliant breakthroughs first imagined, then made real, then applied. Yet when practiced with rigor by people who know they are standing on the shoulders of giants, it is the safety of people that remains supreme. This is indeed the hard stuff. The hard stuff done right. HII. Global Engineering and Defense Technologies for the mission.
Imagined and then make it real. That's what we do. This is perfect. We are in imagination age, and how do you don't stop imagining but then make it real? So I hope you noticed something new about HII. If you had seen any previous HII, HII is really evolving. And, we are really definitely in like a global engineering and defense technologies, going from ISR to unmanned, AI platform, big data platform, and we build the most advanced ships. You saw some of them, aircraft carriers. 75-80% of active ships in Navy were built by HII. So we do a lot of stuff, underwater, over surface, everything. So let me just start off with imagination age. Kevin, you heard about this is imagination age and what happens. So I like to quote Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited to all we now know and understand. While imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. How profound that is. And I want to bring home connection with Albert Einstein. So what you see on the right side, that's his house in Princeton. So we live near Princeton, 5 miles away from it. And I brought my grandson to see Einstein's house because I want him to be imagining. going forward when he grows up. And my wife and my brother-in-law and sister. So you see Albert Einstein, he plays instrument, and the house he played the instrument is on the bottom right, the house. And that house right now, one of our friends lives there. So I can say I've been in the kind of a moment and presence of where Einstein played instruments, and you feel the vibes at times. So moving on, these are evolving times for aerospace and defense. In fact, these are evolving times for all industries, what COVID did. But if you think about evolving times in terms of areas of where we have challenges, cybersecurity, right? It's a main stage these days. Adversaries are on all the time. And it's never stopping. It's just keep going on and on. There are budget constraints from defense side of the house, businesses, and how things have changed. Rate of technology change, you heard from Kevin talk about all the changes that are coming, metaverse, all the things that's happening everywhere. And then we have to deal with, just like healthcare and others, finance, we have to deal with DoD compliances. So if you think about all these challenges coming in evolving times, and you put it through a funnel, what me and my team are working on is saying, so how are we going to increase cybersecurity capabilities at HII? How are we going to lower our costs because we need to meet budget challenges? That's always on our mind. And then can we maintain and improve the service levels? So how do we deliver cybersecurity and IT services at an enterprise level that mitigates internal and external challenges? How do we do that? So I'll start off with, in 2020, I've been with the company 7 years now, and actually we call it in shipyard, I've been there 1 year because it takes 7 years to build an aircraft carrier. And in 2020, I was appointed to the new role of CIO for HII. And I came from Newport News Shipbuilding. This is where I had started my journey at HII. And appointed in January, the challenge given to me was about, Bharat, we need to improve our cybersecurity, mature it. We're doing good, but that's not going to cut it. In the field we are, national security, the kind of things we do, we have to improve. That was board-driven. So that was the challenge given to me. And in about 12 weeks, we went to quarantine. So I started my new job trying to bring teams together, 3 teams together, cybersecurity and IT, working with the businesses, all done remotely. Think about that, including board meetings. So we were probably one of the top first 10 companies, 10 to 12 companies that started a cybersecurity committee at the board level, and I was the company liaison. In fact, I had to come back from my vacation early for the first meeting, and since then we have conducted about 15 board meetings. Except for 2, everything was remote. All management meetings were all remote. So here's the story. 4 years ago, I personally believe bringing work to people, not people to work. In technology, that's doable. And my goal was to hire the best talent wherever they are instead of asking them to move. And I set myself a goal of 10% remote work 100% of the time. And I did not achieve it. I achieved 8%. And I kind of felt bad but never gave up. And then comes COVID. 85% of our staff went remote. And in fact, we never dropped the ball. We realized technology in 30 days, we were able to go 1x to 10x employees working from home. Now, you can't build ships from home. So we did have people coming, but a lot of staff could actually work from home. So sometimes, you know what? Crisis brings some opportunities, right? When things like that happen. So that's the story I tell. And I say that you need to have a strategic mindset when you are trying to lead in evolving times. You need to have a strategic mindset, and you need to find a way to change culture. So our culture was, we actually managed by supervision. I mean, that's been traditional. And in technology field, in professional fields, that's no longer needed. I mean, in fact, our teams are doing so much better, in my view. So what I want to talk about next is, so what are the HI challenges to solve? And if you look at it, I said 75 to 80% of the ships were designed and built by HII that's in active Navy today. So a lot of products, a lot of configurations. We have platforms, 6 to 7 platforms being built at 2 shipyards. Actually, Ingalls have most of them in terms of different platforms at the same time. So you got a configuration control, you got to manage space, supply chain. Think about supply chain. We talk about in COVID times, a lot of our supply chains, critical parts are like year lead time. Facilities and resources. You think about 2 shipyards. Newport News about 500 acres, and Ingalls 700-800 acres. I mean, these are large cities with a lot of equipment, a lot of stuff moving around. The big stuff moving around, a lot of steel. Workforce. The workforce had to be there who are working, right? So, we never shut down, actually, COVID. We went in a kind of downsize mode at times, but we never shut down. And then employee safety. Think about all the things we got to think about. Safety is our number 1 priority because we do a lot of hard stuff. So when you bring all of that together, challenges that we have to solve, I want to take us on a journey of, let's just imagine. We are in imagination age, right? So think about, now let's just imagine. What if I had high-speed network? And we heard about 5G, right? What can I do with it? Our goal is to bring work to people. So we also have people that actually do work using drawings. Can I give them a digital drawings? Can I give them a tablet and give them work instructions at high speed? Can I have a phone engineering instead of, and do a video call to see what problems in the hull we are trying to solve instead of writing a report and then sending it via internal mail? Imagine if I can do predictive maintenance. All that can be done today. It's being done today. But imagine on every asset that I have, I can do predictive maintenance so none of my assets will go down. What about connected workforce? Just think about it. Imagine if I had a sensor on a helmet that can track the person is standing or fallen. Now I can sense that and bring help if somebody's fallen or something. Imagine that sensor connects with the cranes and all the moving parts, and I can predict collision course and prevent it. So it's infinite imagination, right? My point I'm making is all that stuff we are imagining, and you saw partly in the video. We are doing industrial augmented reality today. We're doing a lot more. I think Kevin showed that it was more, A&D was doing more on just training and simulation. We are doing real augmented reality. We call it augmented experience. When we give ship compartments, we sign off with Navy, we compare what was the design and what's the physical, and we do augmented reality, and that's how we sign off. So there are a lot of good examples of how we're using AR today. Talked about smart sensors. So you can predict collision course, you can predict spaces, so you don't have to move things around. Internet of Things, right? You hear about Internet of Things. There is a 30% growth year over year, and there will be probably 80 billion IoTs by 2025. So imagine everything's going to be censored, everything's going to be tracked. So now if you imagine all these things, let me show you what we are doing from reality perspective. Robotics. So we have automated panel line. Before, just to give you an idea, we would take the drawings and we would chalk it, mark it, and then cut the panel lines with laser cutting. Now the digital design goes straight to the machine and it knows what to cut and how to cut to the exact precision level. 3D printing. Yeah, we hear about people printing components, printing plastics. We delivered in 2019 a printed metal part to be tested on aircraft carrier. It is being tested. Very rigorous testing goes on because this is nuclear powered aircraft carriers, right? 2019, we printed that part. 5G, you heard about 5G yesterday. And I think Verizon claims worldwide, but I'm going to just say in US, 2019, we were the first company to have 5G infrastructure at Newport News shipbuilding. Now, we didn't have equipment at that time. We didn't have devices that could work, but infrastructure was ready. So now we're using 5G. We're moving towards private 5G and things like that. Because the goal is to bring needed information to a shipbuilder on the deck, on the device, mobile device. I believe that that's where that's going. Speed is going to be required. Volume is going to be required. Talked about concentration of number of devices that can use 5G and the volume of like videos kind of things. That's the kind of thing we want to look at. Autonomous vehicles. We talk about through acquisition. REMUS 300 now has just become a main play for Navy. These are underwater autonomous conduct missions. So we have that. Internet of Things, we are wiring up a lot of areas in shipyard today. In fact, the unmanned that what we are trying to build in Hampton, Virginia, we're building a 100% digital manufacturing site where everything's going to be digitally managed and manufactured. No more human intervention. That's where a lot of IoT is going to come. Data analytics. Data is new gold, right? More you can mine it, more you can make informed decisions faster. AR, VR. This is not about just playing games. It's hard stuff, right? So we have actually created, our goal is to create a digital twin of aircraft carrier. We're not there yet, but we have created a digital twin of elevators. So it's slowly we are doing all this kind of stuff, creating digital twin. Artificial intelligence, again, the same idea here. How can we predict? How can we use algorithms to predict what's going to happen next? So leveraging technology is a big deal. We do this. So this is the real stuff. We imagine a lot of things. We still have long ways to go in about a lot of things that we want to do. But these are some of the examples. So now let me walk you through where we are headed as a company. So all these things, we've been doing it independently with 3 divisions. And our goal now is can we bring all that together? So we are on a modernization journey. We call it digital defense modernization. Because remember, one of the charge given to me was to how can we mature our cybersecurity? Because we want to make sure our teams is, if you look at the NIST standard of cybersecurity, identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. And I tell my team, detect, respond, recover. We want it at nanosecond speed. We're not there yet, but we need to bring it together. How do you define nanosecond? I'm from New Jersey. When a light turns green and somebody honks behind you, that's nanosecond. So what we're trying to do is bringing 3 networks, 3 infrastructures together under this program. And as I said, we laid out our goals. The team laid out our goals. By the way, I have an A team. 4 of them are here. If you want to talk to them more, interact with them. Is to mature HII cybersecurity. We came up with our vision of zero trust 20 months ago, before President's EO came out about zero trust. So we were already on a journey to implement zero trust, and that's what we're going to implement. We committed to our businesses. Sometimes, when you want to do cybersecurity, there is always a conflict with the business. Protection versus, the capabilities that they want, the flexibility, the user experience. So we said equal or better service. We're not going to let the service go down. And last but not least, if I'm doing 3 times everything, doing it 1 time, it will definitely help me down the road to reduce cost. So that's what you're seeing that's where we have started our journey. We went through kind of the whole process. And it was great for me to attend yesterday's intelligent sourcing. Gave me a lot of insights on what business wants, what procurement wants, and who's got the money and how you make decisions. I'm going to apply that next time we can do that. So digital defense modernization. So what is it? So our foundation is to protect. Our mission that we laid out is to protect, strengthen, and enable our businesses to accomplish their mission. That is our mission for our cybersecurity and IT. So we are looking at bringing cybersecurity operations together. Remember nanosecond? You're going to get there when you have a common approach to it. Part of zero trust, common identity is needed. It's one of the 3 pillars of zero trust. We are going to have a single collaboration environment in a very secured GCC High, Microsoft. Enterprise network, we have varying of networks, trying to bring it together so we can detect things faster. And then some aspect of service desk to make sure. And this is how we are going to prepare ourselves for operational excellence and resiliency. So that is the main. You cannot do this kind of work without partners. So there is an old African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I want to go fast and I want to go far. That imagination, right? And I believe that if you have good partnerships, if you have good partner ecosystem, then I believe you can go fast and far. And that's what we are committed to, making sure that we have a great ecosystem. We used to believe we can do everything ourselves. No longer anymore, because our threats have changed, adversaries have changed. We have to form alliances. And our main motto is digital alliances. That's what we are forming, and we're using this strategic ecosystem. So think about how do we do? All this can be done, right? Technology is here. Everybody, yesterday I was inspired by Jamie and how he started Ring. This morning, Kevin talked about metaverse. In fact, who remembers that was what was it called? Second World, right? Who remembers that? People were signing up for Second World, right? Well, it's coming. It took a while, right? So now you're buying digital properties. You're trying to go into metaverse. So we'll see where it goes. But you cannot do all of these without leadership. And what I want to share with you is I had challenges in the new role where after 12 weeks, we were all remote. And trust me, I agree with Kevin. I've been so used to Zoom windows because I only had to dress up on the top, right? But now, after 2.5 years, I think this is my first keynote in person, and it feels a little bit awkward, so I did a little bit of breathing, yoga, make sure I'm all energized before coming up here. So let me share with you, I think leading in evolving times, we are moving from the continuum of IQ to EQ, and now we're moving towards to DQ, and I'm going to explain what DQ is. I believe to lead, we need to adopt multiple intelligence. And then I'm just going to talk more about the digital side of it, because we're in digital era. You have to connect. You hear about cyberbullies, you hear about social impact, all of that. Fake news, you heard about it, right? All these things going to come at a faster pace. And you have to work with that as a leaders. You have to work through all of these things. So I created my 5 Ds. On the left, I thought I know how to do it. On the right, by the way, I love Marvel movies. So, you need to make a big impact, right? And this is not fully mature yet, but I'm going to ask you, if anything you want to take back from this, find your 5 Ds that you want to support. And I'm going to go back to my first chart about that. So daily, What does it mean by daily? So my view about daily is I'm going to live by my tenets. Healthy, being health. So I'm worried about health. I want to make sure focus on my personal self-care. Because if you're not healthy, you can't lead. Knowledge, even though I said knowledge is limited, you got to have a learning mindset, right? You know, when you go from learning, earning, and giving stages of your life, learning never ends. So this is my advice to even graduates coming out, that don't think that you're done. You're going to be learning forever. So those kind of things you got to do. I believe that when you're doing daily stuff, so that's on the personal side. On the business side, professional side, I would say that you would want to leverage your strength. I don't know how many of you have done Gallup Strength Finder? Yeah, I see quite a few. If you have not heard of that, you have to know your strength. And to know that, take an assessment. Sign up to Gallup Strength Finder. Find your top 5. My top 5, I showed you on the first page, right? So if you know your strength, if you know your team's strength, you can leverage all those strengths. And that's how you can create a 10x impact. So those are the kind of things about daily. I also believe that to learn, you have to do things, right? So when I came to this company, when I joined this company in 14 December, I knew I'm joining a Newport News shipbuilding. I knew nothing about shipbuilding, zero. But they wanted me to join the team because I was bringing an external perspective. I've been in the defense world, technology-driven. Newport News was going integrated digital shipbuilding program, which is all digitalization of the entire supply chain, just like Ingalls have a shipyard of the future. And I didn't know about this company 3 months before actually I accepted the job. So how cool is that? Because I must have done something in an interview. I was imagining. And I was telling them what can be done, what's possible. Long story short, I got hired, and I found out that every employee can learn. We have a shipyard operations class. It's 10 weeks, 2 hours every week for 10 weeks. And they walk you through all different operations of the shipyard. And I went to my president and said, hey, I want to join the shipyard operations class. He said, Bharat, you don't need to. Your peers will teach you what you need to learn. I said, no, I want to learn just like everybody else. So he said, okay. I joined the shipyard class. And one of the shipyard class you have to weld. Welding is a core competency in shipbuilding, right? It used to be rivets, but now it's welding. And because I was a vice president, the team played a trick on me. So my turn came, I welded. So I put the thing on. Once you put the helmet on, and you cannot see anything until the arc strikes. When the arc struck, and I did it, and it was like, by the way, I still have that steel plate with me that proves that I had a perfect arc and perfect welding done, joint. And then everybody looked and said, everybody says, what do you think? Great, passed. The instructor said, nope, failed. I said, what's wrong? This was the wrong welding rod you used, because this metal does not weld better. And imagine if that happened on a submarine and the weld broke. So the moral of the story was, let's make a VP fail, which again, I accepted the failure. I should have asked, is this the right welding rod for the right metal I'm welding? I thought I was just welding. So it's so important. So these are the examples I'm giving you. The second one I'll give you, and then I went to this. We do sea trials, and I wanted to go on a submarine sea trial. So I went to the president and said, hey, I want to go on a submarine sea trial. He said, Bharat, none of your predecessors have gone. Most of the peers don't go. I said, but how I'm going to learn about why we put sailors and how safe the submarine is? I said, okay, fine, go. And I was given all kinds of stories about how boring it's going to be. Make sure you bring, comfortable shoes because there is no place to sit inside a submarine unless you are sleeping or you are eating. That's the only time you're sitting. Otherwise, you're always standing. I had to take a training class for evacuation, safety, and all that. So I went through that, and there was one para I looked at, and it said, if anything goes wrong under 600 feet, chances of survival, 0. And I don't know, I'm so transparent guy, I told my wife that. What a mistake that was. She says, don't go. And I said, wait a minute. We design and build these ships. We put sailors. They protect our freedom. Why would I not go? Finally, I kind of convinced her. I told her, I'll buy you another dress. I'll put you on my, whatever the will and all that. Everything is clean. But it was the best experience in my 5, if I list my 5 top experiences, that was one of the top 5. And before going on a sea trial, my only experience with submarine was U-571 and Hunt for Red October. I never knew about submarines until I went in one, nuclear powered. Think about that. And guess what? These guys are fun. We even watch Hunt for Red October movie after dinner in the submarine. Long story short, it was an awesome. And then I went for a sea trial on Ford 78 for 7 days at sea. And I'm telling you all these things is because you have to connect with people, you have to connect with the senior leaders. And going on a Ford class for 7 days at sea on an aircraft carrier, the 4-star admiral invited me to dinner in his cabin. And for an hour-long dinner, 45 minutes, we talk about technology. And now he's become a great ally of technology. Right? Think about that. Disruption. I believe you need to stand out and not fit in. Most of us, always when you start a job, you want to fit in an organization. My recommendation is not to do that. Stand out, show your strengths, leverage your mindset, show your imagination, because that's how the industry is going to benefit from it. There were some disruption stories. In the interest of time, I'll just skip it. But I was told one time, so here's the story. So I come in, I said, well, we should do cloud. Every time I talk about cloud, people take out their umbrellas. Because it's forbidden. The kind of work we do, the kind of data we have, cloud is forbidden. So I had to prove that it's doable because it's not all Navy nuclear information. That absolutely cannot go on in wrong hands. So I got some people together from UNNPI, which unclassified Navy nuclear. I got IT folks, cybersecurity folks all together. And I said, I want to put HR system in the cloud, secured. It's PII, but the companies are doing it, right? So why could we not do it? And I said, don't come out of that room until you agree what we're going to do. End of the day, I saw the white smoke come out of the chimney. And we agreed that we could do this. And that was our first journey to the cloud at Newport News to go on, take our HR systems into the cloud. A lot of other stories. Delivery. Delivery is so important. So what I want to talk about delivery is you have to provide value. You have to do all those things, that you're committed to the business. Remember I told about the mission. So mission is to make sure that your business can achieve their mission. Diversity. I believe in diversity. Diversity of thought. I co-founded an ERG called Asian. Asian shipbuilders, including all nationality, because we said this is not just for Asian, anybody can join. But we wanted to make sure enterprise resource group. So I believe in diversity. My team, if you look at it, we are very diverse, and that makes us stronger. Driven. You got to follow your passion. And I say, what kept me at HII? I got connected with the passion. The passion is to, we say we don't build ships or we don't build defense products or technologies. We build freedom. How mission-oriented when you tell somebody that? Or we shape freedom. And that's how, so driven and passion-oriented ought to be. So in closing, I want you to create your 5 Ds. Think about what they would be, because you're going to be all doing digital DQ. Digital quotient is called digital intelligence, but it's called DQ. Learn about it. There's a whole industry around that. So takeaways, imagination. Never let that one go. It's here to stay. Make sure you promote that in your workforce, in a family. This is what I'm doing with my grandkids. I have 4 grandkids, and I'm thinking about them to imagine. They can imagine. When I give them Lego sets, they build kind of things that I can't even think about it. You need to have strategic partners. Remember what I said about you want to go far, so you want to go together with partner ecosystem, but I also believe you can go fast if you have the right partners. And last but not least, it's the leadership. You have to take action as a leader to promote and demonstrate boldness, be an authentic leader. And I said, find your 5 Ds, make your 5 Ds, have a tenets that you believe in, and live by that. So with that, if you want to connect with me, you can scan the code. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very active, and I do comment on a lot of things about leadership as well as technology. Thank you very much.